TBC Prepatch just got announced and there's a shit ton of changes, drama from the servers and the no cloning feature all the way to post-nerf and just so many little things that got announced and didn't get announced that everybody is deep diving and trying to figure out exactly what's happening. We're starting off right here with the change to mage boosting and spell cleave. Now, I am personally a fan of destroying the entire boosting and botting scene, but it seems kind of ironic that this is added to the game, not during the entire anniversary experience, but when a TBC boost is finally in the game. I am okay with this change. But the irony is quite there, and it's quite apparent that this was added afterwards, now that a boost that is available for purchase is in game. Nonetheless, for those that aren't aware, if you are getting mage boosted or spell cleave, if there is even a single grey mob, you'll get perma-stunned. This effectively makes it so that you can only boost people level 62 to 70. Well, I think technically a 59 to 70, give or take, but as a prop paladin or a mage booster in, slave pens and whatnot, you can only really boost people that are above level 62 efficiently, give or take, due to only mobs. If a mob is grey, everybody gets 10% XP only. So effectively, the whole boosting scene below a certain level is effectively over. Unless these mage boosters or prop paladin boosters figure out how to sell SFKs as a level 30 paladin or sell SMs as level 40 paladin, of that nature, boosting is effectively now dead and will continue to stay dead. And this is, as I said, one of the good changes. I don't think that there's anything wrong with this change, and I think it was honestly a good decision from Blizzard to put this into the game. Now, what are the other changes getting added to the game so far, right? Because this is only like one of many. This is one of many changes, and it's not necessarily a super big deal, but the next couple ones. I already covered this in a previous video. You, of course, have the general changes. Heroes and Bloodlust is now raid-wide with a 10-minute Sate/exhaustion debuff. The Terracone respawn rate has been increased with way more Terracone nodes added. Edit mode is a quality of life feature. All of these are nice additional features to the game that makes everybody's experience drastically better. But the issue comes forward from heroic dungeons and raids, right? A lot of people were initially very excited and very happy and very positive about heroic dungeons being added to the game, with attunements being account wide. So once one character has hit revered and getting the character attuned, you can just buy a bag that contains a bind on battle done at account key to send to your alts. This will effectively kill the entire normal dungeon scene, and you'll have a very, very hard time finding normal dungeons, not at phase 1, but by phase 2 or phase 3, when the normal dungeon scene was always full of people leveling alts and grinding at their reputations, this effectively kills that. It is a good quality of life feature, and it is absolutely good for the quality of life of people who have already gotten their characters ready and aren't planning on leveling alts. But for the entire alt scene, gearing up your alt is going to be drastically more difficult, and it's going to be effectively going from leveling gear to heroic gear to Karazhan and onwards. So I'm not exactly sure how this is going to affect the entire culture of the game, the entire gameplay scene for TBC Anniversary itself, but it is something to keep in mind, that a good change can have long-standing negative consequences due to player culture and just how the game is consumed. Which takes us on to the raiding scene. Every player's first character will be required to become fully attuned for each raid, but upon doing so, that raid will be unlocked for all characters on that player's Battle.net account. Phenomenal change. I personally have nothing to say negative about that. But it's this next sentence right here. Raids will be released in their post-nerf state. For those of you that aren't aware, post-nerf raids is controversial because post-nerf raids change a lot. They don't just make the raids easier, they make them drastically easier. Now, for the rather casual player base and casual community and just the casual gameplay loop and system overall, it's actually really, really good. But for anyone that's looking for any kind of challenge, there is no more challenge. The post-nerf states of SSC and TTK, the Tempest Keep and Serpentine Cavern, are now effectively a joke. And this made one of the harder, raiding curves effectively mitigated. There is no barrier to entry to Black Temple or Sunwell now. Well, for Sunwell, it's still need to be somewhat decent at the game to fully clear Sunwell. But it's made the raiding scene drastically easier for every single person involved. And to me, it kind of showcases that they're just making TBC rather fast. TBC is not going to be a very long-standing experience. You're going to go into TBC, in about a year's time, TBC is going to end. They're trying to make no barrier to entry and make this just a rather good experience, so people can go on to the next thing, whatever that ends up being. Classic Plus. Now, initially with arenas, I personally was all for arenas, the arena changes. But a lot of people have said that this has effectively mitigated the arena scene and made it so it's effectively worthless for a lot of people. And that's just arenas itself. I'm not a big PvPer, so for me, this is kind of like fun to be able to go and buy all the gear with no requirements, just being able to PvP and purchase the gear, except for shoulders and weapons, which require 2k and 1700 rating. But based on the PvPers I've talked to, this effectively makes 2250 the new 1500. So it's changed the dynamic and the culture of the game. Now, I don't necessarily want to talk too much on this because, again, I'm not a great PvPer. I'm decent, I can lead a rated battleground, I can play with better people and just do fine in it. But across the board, I'm not that phenomenal at PvP, and I'd be lying to you if I knew the full-on intricacies and effects it will have on the entire PvP scene. To me, it seems like a good change, but you would have to watch a PvPer who does PvP content on YouTube for a better opinion on this, because it is not within my scope or my skill set to give you guys an honest and true scope for this context here. I do want to go back to the raids for a short moment here and explain that post-nerf raids now change because they didn't specify what post-nerf raids are. Post-nerf raids could be just SSC and TK, but it could be post-nerf Karazhan, post-nerf Black Temple, post-nerf Sunwell, post-nerf Gruuls and Magtheridon. Every single raid was nerfed in TBC at a certain point, but they don't explain exactly what post-nerf raids are. If it's just post-nerf TTK and SSC, it's not the biggest deal. But if it's post-nerf Karazhan, post-nerf Gruul, and post-nerf Magtheridon, it effectively mitigates a huge portion of the game and makes the game drastically easier to an almost comedic effect for something like Karazhan to come out post-nerf. It wasn't that difficult pre-nerf. So if it does come out nerfed, it is something for people to keep in mind that there is a level of making the game easier for people, and there's a level of making the game an effective joke. Again, they didn't clarify here, and they haven't gone into detail to explain what the post-nerf states are for every single raid as of yet. It is just simply a statement saying post-nerf raids. It could be every raid, it could just be the harder ones. We don't know as of this moment. Now, realm type transfers and feature updates, I already talked about this in a previous video, but there is no cloning feature. It's one of the big gripes the community has with the current state of things. You cannot clone your character. You have to pick between going to Era and going to TBC. You just get one transfer in either direction. Well, if you only get one transfer to Era, if you don't take the transfer, your character continues to TBC. So those are your options. So this did make us a lot of people that were planning on playing on both, who were planning on playing, TBC and Era, now have to pick. Or they transfer the character to TBC or to Era, and then they boost for TBC. Now, this does impact things overall, because I know a lot of people who are planning on playing in Era as well as TBC, and now people have to make that choice. Now, if you are buying that boost bundle, you can transfer to Era, take your warrior there, because your warrior is going to be much better received there as a high warlord or a grand marshal, and then you boost the warlock or whatever meta class you plan on playing for TBC, and no more drama, no more issues. It's still a problem. But they did go on to explain this back in 2021 or 2022, I forget the exact date, where they said that the cloning service was incredibly difficult and rather buggy as a feature in a system, and it was not cost effective or worth it for the players or the developers to do, so they didn't plan on doing it again in the future. Which in my opinion, I understand, but it is a frustrating experience regardless, and it does not make me feel particularly happy that this did happen and that this is the effect of just the fact that it's not a cost-effective system to do, and it takes a lot of dev time that the devs don't really have to give because they're working on some big project for the future. Another major change in this TBC anniversary pre-patch compared to the previous 2021 TBC pre-patch is the High Warlord and Grand Marshal weapons and armor. As you guys can see on screen, it is about 4800 honor for a weapon, as well as being close to 1300 to 4k per armor piece. Whereas beforehand, in the 2021 pre-patch, it was 10, 15, 20,000 honor, as well as much higher token regards as well, compared to what is going in January 13 for the pre-patch. Previously, it would take hundreds of hours to farm the honor necessary to purchase this gear during pre-patch, whereas nowadays it is going to take you, and I did the math, to afford everything about 30,000 honor, and give or take about, I think, 24 tokens across the board. It's going to take you about 50 games if you win everything, maybe 80 to 90 games if you lose everything, to purchase every single armor piece. Now, I'm not sure if the honor values are going to be higher in TBC Anniversary pre-patch, or if they're going to be the same as they were back in 2021. So if you were looking to purchase every single honor, High Warlord, Grand Marshal honor gear, on the pre-patch, it takes you about 2 to 4 hours per day. Again, assuming whether you win every game or lose every game. And about 2 weeks to purchase everything. Or if you're a degenerate gamer who wants to just sit there and grind for 10 to 16 to 20 hours, you can knock out the whole thing in one day. If you win every game, it's about 20 hours, and if you lose every game, it's about 40 hours to earn every single piece of honor. Now, keep in mind these values could be slightly off in regards to how much honor you gain per win per loss, and how much honor you gain in game. So this could be as low as 12 hours to unlock every single honor piece, and as high as 50 hours to unlock every honor piece. We don't know if there's going to be honor value gain changes in TBC pre-patch, but as a rough estimate, put aside about 25-30 hours, you can confidently get most pieces, if not every single piece. Now, as I said, we already covered account-wide attunements and heroic keys. We've already covered all the changes, the Terracon stuff. The UI edit mode is honestly a rather amazing feature, being able to tweak and move everything without needing to go install, for example, UI or any of the other add-on systems. Guild bank from the start of the expansion. That's another very solid change, so guilds don't have to deal with all the drama and all the issues of having the GM or the raid leader have a mail alt for all the guild bank resources. But that's effectively all the major changes. Now we're going to talk about the changes coming to Classic Era realms. You are getting dual spec. You are getting group finder tool. You are getting instant mail. All these little quality of life features that the Classic Era player base does not want. If you guys remember, when they got polearm for druids, as well as the Alliance Ren buff, the Era community got together, rioted until Blizzard removed it. But now it's in Era. Well, not those two things, these three things. So I'm very curious how the Era player base is going to react to this, because they're also getting the quality of life edit mode in Era as well. So they're getting changes to the Era experience, to the Era playstyle, and I wonder if this is going to make the Era player base riot in anger and frustration that Blizzard is effectively going in to the back end and changing everything, and making it so that Era players now are living through and experiencing changes across the board for their gameplay experience. For the Era players, the people I've talked to, they are frustrated that Era has any changes whatsoever. They know it's more frustrating, they know it's less quality of life, but they want to play the game in that particular manner. I know Era players who don't even want Chrono Boon in Era. But there are also Era players that do want this. There is no through and through Era players that accept every little thing or accept nothing. It's a spectrum. Chrono Boon is something they now love and adore, but there are still people that think it's an impure experience of that Era lifestyle that they've come to adore and live through. On top of the server changes, there is no official hardcore servers for TBC. Now initially, they made a statement in the big official blue post that there was going to be hardcore transfers to TBC Hardcore or Era Hardcore. And the devs removed that, they edited the entire article and they removed that from the game. And they said there will not be progression back into, there will be no TBC Hardcore servers. So they removed they edited it out, they removed the sentence, because it was a mistake and they didn't actually want that to be in the game. So for people that were excited for official TBC Hardcore, there is no official TBC Hardcore and there will not be an official TBC Hardcore. You are effectively only playing Era Hardcore or Anniversary Hardcore going forward, that is it. But there will be an unofficial OnlyFans for TBC with a whole add-on for the hardcore experience. It's gonna be a shit show. It's gonna be garbage. It is simply what it is. It's gonna be fun though. I'm gonna have a good time playing with my boy C-Dank and all them. But it's gonna be a terrible experience. Everyone's gonna die very, very often and very, very fast. But officially, the PTR is out. On January 13th, we are going into the pre-patch. And I expect it to be a 2 to 4 week experience to go into official launch for TBC Anniversary. So expect very late January or very early February for TBC official launch for Anniversary TBC servers. But as of now, January 13th, you can dive into the TBC pre-patch and start leveling your Blood Elf and your Warlock and all of that stuff. Now, in regards to the bundle and everything else, that is something that people have to keep in mind, that you can effectively spend money on a bundle and get a whole bunch of things inside of it. I'm going to show you all that bundle right now. Right here, you guys can see the Outland Epic Pack, which comes with 30-day game time and a level boost. This is 80 USD. And then you have the Outland Heroic Pack, which doesn't come with a level boost or the game time, and it's $40. You get a flying mount, no skill as of right now. The skill has not been confirmed, so if you're expecting skill to come with the mount, it is unlikely or it's not going to happen whatsoever. But you get the mount, the Hearthstone effect, you get the little Exodar toy, you get the little Whelpling, and on retail and Mr. Pandaria you get everything as well. So this all comes to Mr. Pandaria as well as retail. So for 40 bucks you get all of this on 3 different versions of the game. For this one, the boost and the game time, the boost is just TBC, but the game time is for every version of the game. So if you are buying this, you get game time. It's just an account game time. I don't know why I have to specify that. But the level boost is exclusively for TBC. It's a level 58 character boost, and you only unlock it on January 13th, so you cannot use the level boost as of right now at this instant, but it will be available to be used on January 13th. I'm not personally sure how I feel about this. I'm not the biggest fan of microtransactions and cosmetic bundles and all these things, but I don't think you can go back and change player culture, community culture, and just swiping culture in general. I expect this is going to continue in future versions of TBC, in Wrath of the Lich King Anniversary, in Classic Plus, or any further games, to always come with a bundle, buyable mounts, buyable pets, toys, Hearthstone effects. It is simply just the future of gaming in general, and I think we just have to accept that. I don't think there's any rioting or anger that's going to happen. There is no /spit movement. There is no frustration or anger. I've seen almost nobody talk about this. Nobody cares. It's just welcome to the modern era of gaming. So if you buy the bundle, go ahead. If you don't buy the bundle, don't buy it. But it's not changing, and I genuinely don't think anybody cares whatsoever. So if people like me who are all against microtransactions, all this stuff, we've lost. It's just time to move on. Stop bitching and moaning. Nobody cares about our opinion on this facet. People are gonna buy the packs. It's just what it is. And no, you cannot buy the boost alone. To get the level 58 boost, you have to buy the Epic Pack. It is $80 to get it, and you have to spend the full 80 bucks to get the boost. It does not come separately. Now, with all of this being added into the game, with this entire thing being, TBC's state, I am honestly still very excited, and I think overall, all the changes and all the things they have done is, in my opinion, rather good and rather exciting. I am not upset whatsoever. Across the board, there are minor things that I wish there was some more information about so I could understand. For example, the cloning service, if they could give us a blue post explaining why we're not getting that. If they could give us a blue post going into in-depth detail about the post-nerf changes. Some more information about exactly what else is changing on the back end. I'm not exactly sure what every single major change is, because they've only given us the surface level changes. Post-nerf, no cloning. And they've just left it at that and left us all to figure out the rest. But across the board, this just makes me excited for TBC, because the raid attunements, the heroic dungeon attunements, making alt easier to experience, getting PvP gear for a smoother experience, just having guild bank from the get-go, having dual spec immediately in game, instant mail, all of these quality of life features, all of these additions to the game make TBC a better experience. And January 13th, while about 2 months away from today, honestly, I kind of feel like it should have been December 18th. I don't understand why we're getting it post the Christmas and holiday break. for a lot of people, the holiday break would have been a great time to play and a great time to experience all the content, but we have to wait 2 months to get the pre-patch, another 2 to 4 weeks to get the launch itself. So for me, I'm kind of frustrated, but it's not the biggest deal. 2 months is 2 months. We'll live, we'll learn, we'll get over it. But I just feel like it's kind of a weird, wonky choice of when to release. And now I know Throne of Thunder is coming out on December 11th, I think, for Mr. Pandaria. But I don't think the TBC player base and Anniversary player base should get punished and have a longer wait time so the Mr. Pandaria players can play their version of the game. Because the TBC/Anniversary player base weren't playing Mr. Pandaria anyways. There are way more positives than there are negatives in this context. I would say 80% positive, 20% negative, and the negative is even 50-50, because if it's just, like I said, raid nerf is a big one. If it's just SSC and TTK, it's not a big deal whatsoever. But if it is every single raid from Karazhan and Mag and Gruul and Black Temple and Sunrise, everything is post-nerf from beginning to end, it's kind of frustrating because Karazhan/Mag rule isn't that hard. But I know a lot of casual guilds truly struggle with Magtheridon because, you know, clicking 5 boxes is rather difficult. And because if you double click, you know, you unclick it and then you wipe your raid. So, you know, I get it. It's just, I don't think it needed to launch with post-nerf for everything. Maybe 2 weeks to 4 weeks pre-nerf. Then you can do post-nerf after the first 2 to 4 weeks. So people can challenge themselves. And if your guild can't clear it in 4 weeks, then it's post-nerf and now everybody can just clear it easy peasy, right? But hey, it is what it is. I hope they give us way more information and give us more things to deep dive into. Because I'm incredibly excited, but I could see the frustration in the community and not having the full-blown communication of everything. And I truly wish we could just dive into TBC pre-patch today. But nonetheless, thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, like and subscribe. If you hated it, understandable. Dislike and subscribe and be a dedicated hater. I can't wait to see you guys inside TBC pre-patch. I'll see you all January 13th. Thank you all. Ebonheart out. Peace.